At the end of this video, you will be able to see. So finally, this is how this website is looking now. We have that YouTube channel button, the title of that main page, the tagline and the subheading, and the features playlist are also in place, and those are coming from the business layer. We don't need to now change everything and every time on the main website. And we have that more playlist button as well. So let's start now. For now, we have fixed the image and the text is already dummy here. Let's make it bit dynamic. Not that change will not come from the database. Let's say we are using a fixed list structure for now for that one, and that is the last part of this video. We will make that featured playlist part a bit dynamic, and for that one I don't want to add classes in this project. That should be coming from a separate library. So for that part, let's add a folder with name of services, and inside those services we can add a new project class library, and that class library is basically a class library with cross platform support. Let's add this one and we can name it UC, stand for Usman code. Services is the prefix that this library is from the services dot. Because this is a business logic, we can say Usman Go dot services. That should be, I guess, dot business dot services, because these are the business services, and we want to place that inside that business folder, not business, inside the services folder. Let's use services for now, and next. And because we are not providing any legacy support for any existing project that is on .NET framework, so we can ignore .NET standard and we can keep using our latest .NET framework, that is 8.0, and we can create. Now let's rename it to the playlist service .cs. Let's add the interface for that playlist service inside the same class, same file as well, and at some point we will split those interfaces into a separate library, and at that point I will explain why I'm doing that. But for now, just for the simplicity at this stage, we can add an interface in the same file interface, and I can name it playlist service. I playlist service, that should I playlist service, and we can name it public get featured list. And what should be the return type of that playlist, list of that playlist? For that one, I will add a class, public class list, something like that, and inside that we can have few properties: public int id of the playlist, public string title of that playlist, and description of that playlist, and the what else we can add here? Yeah, thumbnail, string thumbnail. Okay, so playlist class is there, and next thing is to return the list of playlist like this, and we will be implementing that interface I playlist service, and let's prepare a playlist here in that service, and later on we will be consuming database from within playlist service, and there will be no change required in the web app part. Right, so web app and the service will be integrated after this video, and later on any change in that service will not directly affect our web app, and that is the beauty of that layered architecture. So for playlist is equal to new, and let's try to add a new playlist which has ID of one. Thumbnail is again thumbnail we copied previously from YouTube. And what was the thing? Title? Yeah, title is what was the title? .NET C Sharp read configs. It's not mandatory to use the same one here, but for the simplicity, let's copy paste exactly. Okay, and what about the description? In this playlist, I am to read configs from the types of .NET C based projects. And anything else? No, all good. So that is our one playlist. And let's replicate this here. Two, three, yeah, three featured playlists. And then we can return the playlist here. And let's go back to the web app. First thing first, let's exactly go to the program.cs where we are now trying to utilize the dependency injection as well. Here before builder.services.add controllers with views, we can add our services. You can comment here business services as well. So that is the main comment. That would be the business services. For that one, I can say dot services dot add what kind of that service should be. For now that should be singleton because we are not utilizing any database here, so we can utilize same instance over and over again. We can use singleton, and with singleton we know that that is I playlist service, and we need to definitely include the reference of the project. And what was the name of that class? Playlist service. Yeah, the naming convention is not consistent, so let's go back to the class and try to change that here, and now here is. So we have those business services added, and now simply we can inject that iPlaylist service interface into the controller, and before that here we can add private read only playlist service, and that is playlist service. And we need to add, and to just distinguish between these two, we can just add underscore playlist services is injected. And now here in the index action, we basically need to pass that list to the view as a model. For that one, I can say list is equal to playlist service dot get featured list. That should give us the list of feature playlists. Yeah. And let's pass back that list to the view. And now go back here, and we can receive that list I enumerable in the form of I enumerable of playlist, and to include that you can use using small code dot instance dot services, and go back to the view model I enumerable of playlist. So we have that model at the top, and now we can simply replace our iteration, and we can use for each for item in model. And here instead of hard coded link, I can use now item dot thumbnail, because we are now iterating on the model, and model is basically a list of playlist. Item dot thumbnail here should be item dot title, and here should be item dot thumbnail, not thumbnail, item dot description. Let's rerun to see the effect. Yeah, so now we have those coming from the business layer, the titles, the descriptions, and the thumbnails. I'm not sure what should be displayed here, maybe here as well, I think. So how to replace that part? let me think about it, how useful that element is. Do we need, or we can just remove that one? But yeah, we have that playlist now coming from the business layer. So let's try to change the contents of the other two playlists. Previously we have selected entity framework core one, so we can copy its URL as well as entity framework 8.0 its name. And what about the description? Let's use this one here. Yeah, we can use, so let's use that later, but first of all let's replace the entity framework core playlist. For that one I can change the ID, the thumbnail, and description. That's a little bit description, that is fine. Entity framework code 8.0. Now you can see that we are just controlling the website from the business layer. So let's see how it looks now. Now we have that appearing here, although description is a bit lengthy, but I think for now it's fine. The third part would be the .NET projects playlist. For that one we can use this, the thumbnail, and what about the title? C# complete projects. Now ID should be 3, thumbnail should be that, the description should be this one. So now it looks good. We have updated the main page of Smart Code. In the next video, we'll do some work on this more info button. We'll try to reduce that description to make those tiles identical in terms of size. And also we'll try to do some workaround for this subtitle of that tile as well. And another thing we will do is add that project on GitHub Actions. That will be an interesting part because we don't want to export that project each time manually and use that FTP client to deploy those changes. That all part should be handled by automation and in the through the pipeline, CI/CD pipeline as well, through CI/CD and the GitHub pipeline, which is GitHub Action. So we'll try to add a GitHub action in our coming video, and that will enable us to only merge our changes to a main branch, and all those changes will be deployed to our website in the background within few minutes automatically. So that is essential part of any professional project. That was all for this video. In case of any question or query, do ask me in the comments, and see you in the next one.